So to set this next video up, Harry asked him about the commissions Uber takes. What would be a preferable commission rate for Uber, or fair commission rate for Uber to take?
Okay, there we go.
Is a fair number. What shows up as higher, but the reason, really the major reason why it's higher to some extent, is the cost of insurance that we have to bear as well. So I think that's something else that drivers should keep in mind.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, we work with a lot of fleet owners, and we've got some great insurance partners. And frankly, this is like one of the biggest barriers to starting new fleets and starting new companies is the insurance. So I know it's expensive, but also I think most drivers, they probably aren't aware and also don't really care, right? It's sort of like, I see the commission. And so it seems like the opportunity there is to sort of highlight some of those expenses, right? If Uber is taking a 35% commission, but 15% of that is actually insurance, like as a driver, it seems like it'd be in Uber's best interest to let me know. So I don't just think that, you're taking all that money for yourself, or even small stuff, right? Like the credit card processing fee, I imagine that's probably 2-3% on every single fare, right? So of 20%, that's a decent little chunk there, right? So I think that seems like the opportunity there, I guess, in terms of commission.
I do think that there's a lot more that we can do in terms of transparency, communication. And I think the other factor that you point out, Harry, is like, we do have a higher take on certain rides, but then we take a lower take on other rides. And generally we're optimizing for an average take. And basically sometimes price goes up and down in order for us to most efficiently match a collection of possible matches to basically get as much business into our system as possible. So in that way, having this variable take rate to some extent is in drivers' interest, and it's in our interest, because it essentially increases the business at the same average take rate. And we just have to do better in terms of that communication.
Yeah. Well, and insurance, like you mentioned, right? It's a big cost. You talked about, I know Uber has been doing a lot of features around things like dash cams, and I guess even tying into safety. The sort of final thing that I wanted to end this interview with was safety, because I think this is one thing drivers.
So we missed like the first minute of it, but so Dara says, we don't take 50%. If you took out the insurance for period 2 and 3, which you do have $1 million liability, bodily injury, and all that good stuff for period 3, especially, meaning a passenger in the car. If you deduct all those expenses that we're paying, well, you're not paying, by the way, the passenger, it's included in the fare of the passenger. Passenger is paying for the insurance. Uber is not paying that out of pocket, but let's say it is, because they collect the revenue. They pay for the insurance and ship to the insurance company, and then whatever is left, they take their service charge and marketplace fee, and then whatever is left is the drivers. So that's how the calculation is made. So to me, he said the incidents on the platform are down. Okay. So what happens when the incidents go down, Chris? Do your insurance rates go up, or do your insurance rates go down?
Usually they will probably either stay the same or try to go up and say, oh, well, we got to pay more money or something. So let's be real. Insurance rates don't really go down unless you shop around.
But according to Dara, the reason the take rate is so high is because their insurance rates with the companies that they underwrite for Uber have almost doubled, nearly tripled in the last 5 years. Although the incidence rates are down, and breaking news, you guys know that Uber used to be $1,000 deductible and Lyft used to be $2,500 about what, year ago, right? Or maybe a year and a half ago. Uber matched Lyft at $2,500 now. So if you want a cheaper insurance policy, you increase your deductible, correct? And that's why Uber did. But they're still saying that, insurance rates are out of control. We have to do what we have to do. We're insuring the driver. And that's why, our take rate has to be 50. But if you deduct all that, the insurance stuff and 26,000 coders making $2 million a year each, all that stuff, then, we're left with the take rate. And the take rate, he goes, a fair, clean, net take rate is 20%, he said. So to me, okay, 20% is fair. But, 50%, 60% people complain about is fact. On certain trips, especially on shorter trips, Uber takes 55%. In minimum fare trips, passenger pays 8, you get 4 if you're lucky. And, on longer trips, maybe it bounces out a little bit. But the question is, he said drivers and Uber would be happy with 20% take rate. And I agree, but we're not at 20%. We're not at 20% there. We're much
I was
higher.
I was almost expecting them to say it's Rush's fault that the insurance rates are so high, so we have to charge 50% of the fare to pay for these insurance rates or something.
Yeah.
But you know, the thing is though, it's like, yeah, if you do a hard calculation at 20%, that gives you 20% of whatever the fare is, and you got to work within those bounds. If you can't, then you need to figure something else out. If that's where you're going to go. Like if you're blaming this all on insurance, that's not the correct way to look at it, because you're looking at profitability, you're looking at, you know, your shareholders, you're looking at, you know, the payment for your employees, you're looking at $200,000 in balloons. I mean, you're looking at all these different expenses and stuff, and the whole thing is they really need to step back and, you know, you got to run the company, you know, nice and lean. And then that way, you know, you're cutting down all your expenses there. But the other thing too is like, if they wanted to pay, you know, or if they had, you know, if they came to us and they said, look, this is what's going on. This is the reason why we need to pay you right here in this range. And this is the reason why we need to upcharge the customer to this rate. If they showed that, the transparency factor, I would be like, okay, this makes sense. But how can we, you know, fix that? How can we solve that? How can we make it so the expense is lower? So, you know, you can keep rates whatever, but still keep our rates good and where they are.
Yeah.
Or just tack on a percentage on top of that and work within that. Yeah, I mean, granted, you can't do that really anymore because all these rides were subsidized, but today.
But I mean, if you think about it, Chris, okay, so let's just make it a hypothetical. $30, you know, trip, passenger pays 30, you know, Uber takes 15, driver gets 15. So Uber has $15 gross revenue out of that trip. Okay. Now they have to pay insurance for, you know, out of that. They have to pay rent for their buildings and offices and computers and coders and employees and all other insurances and liability insurance on their own because they get sued every other day, legal fees, all that shit. If you figure that out, it's easy to come up with that 15-20% take, net take, you understand? However, when he says insurance rates are the biggest factor in our take rate being 50%, I'm not buying it. If you raise the deductible to $2,500, that should have lowered your insurance rates. And on top of that, you, sir, are not paying for that insurance. It's coming out of the fare. So I'm thinking if I was a full-time driver, right, and Uber truly broke down their insurance premiums into that trip and said, Sergio, you know, you did 150 trips this week, okay? For each trip, I took $5 and bought you insurance in period 3. That's $750 a week, okay? And that's why my take rate had to be so high, because I took $5 out of each $30 ride and bought you commercial insurance, because that's what we have. We have commercial insurance. Well, commercial insurance, drivers can buy their own commercial insurance. It's like $600 to $800 a month. It's like $8,000, maybe $9,000 a year. All those TCP plates that you see, you know, the black cars, right? They all have commercial insurance. It's about $6,000 to $8,000 per car a year. So as a driver, if you're telling me that, yeah, bulk of that take 50% is going to insurance, I'm not buying it, because then I can buy my own commercial insurance cheaper than you, sir. Just for the fact that if I took out, you give me the money you're sending insurance companies, I'll buy my own commercial insurance, put TCP behind my car as an Uber, right? And that means I have commercial insurance. And if it's $5 a ride, $3 a ride, $2 a ride, whatever it is, on longer trips, obviously it's higher premiums. In 1 week, I can come up with $500-$600 if I was the full-time driver doing 100 to 150 trips a week. You know what I mean? And that's my monthly premium. So the rest of it, you know, I'm not really buying that the premiums got doubling, tripling, inclusive of the deductible going up to $2,500 is costing them that much money. That's why they have to take 50%. I'm not buying that. I'm calling bullshit on that. But, you know, it is what it is.
All right, thanks for watching. That short little clip was from our live stream, Show Me the Money Club, with Sergio and myself. Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you subscribe, turn on all notifications so you'll be notified when we go live, as well as all of our awesome content. Make sure to check out this video right here, which will take you to the entire live stream, or check out this video right there. All right, drive smart, everyone.